Hello everyone and welcome back to my page. I am doing this slideshow on pediatric mental health. We're going to make this short and sweet, so let's pay attention and get it done under 10 minutes. There are 3 tiers used in the school system. The first one is collaborating to create positive environments and observing all children's behaviors. Tier 2, developing and running programs, and consulting with the teacher to modify learning demands for at-risk students. Tier 3, individual or group intervention for students with mental health concerns and collaborating with school-based mental health providers. Here I have a list of terms that are used during cognitive behavioral therapy strategies. I want to take a moment to let you read over them. To be honest, once you read it, you'll realize that we are already aware of these terms. I think as we're studying to take our boards, we tend to overthink the mental health aspect because it was just like a little inkling of information that was given to us. But we need to remember that OT started in the mental health field. This is their roots. This is their foundation. So be confident in what your knowledge is here, people. We've got this. First one, autism spectrum disorder. Now, I am going under the impression that you are aware of what these things are, so I just want to say the OT's role, or OTA's role, in assisting people with these disorders. So the first thing that we're going to look at is their functional impairments. Are they impaired in communication, social skills, and/or activity performance? Are they struggling with their ADLs or IDLs? Is there an impaired social interaction? Are they routinized and unproductive patterns of behavior, such as repeatedly asking the same question and not really wanting it answered, but just doing that repetitive behavior? For treatment options, you have behavioral intervention, early intervention services, and/or medication. Listed below, I have some tools that can be used for assessments. Primarily what we're going to do is look at the functional impairments for this disorder and work towards a quality of life for the child. So if you remember the functional impairment potentials for this disorder, everything else will fall into play. All right, so we have the Aspergers Syndrome. You are going to be assessing language, cognitive, self-help, and adaptive behavior skills. Typically, they're within normal limits, but you still want to take a look and see what that is. Also, keep in mind that you want to explore their organization skills. A lot of children have a tendency of falling behind and/or could be held back at school, and this could be their diagnosis. They also may be experiencing some sensory processing disorder. MOHO will be used to assess that. The OT performance challenges. The individual may be hypersensitive to stimulations that is imposed on him. Stimulations. Ooh! Sensory processing disorders are associated with problems in negotiating in the community and social skill defects. They may have anxiety and/or poor communication. Okay, you guys, I promise I'm going to wake up. Poor coordination. There may be some problems with hearing, vision, movements, and/or touch. They also may struggle with nonverbal communication. So they may not get the social cues that are being given by their peers, so they could overstep boundaries when the individuals aren't comfortable. So our intervention would be a behavioral analysis, social skill training, consistent routines, preparation for transition. So give a 5-minute warning before they're going to move to another activity. Reducing distractions and a planned break. All right, so mood disorders. Just have these footnotes because I'm going to go over them. All right, first thing we have is major depression. So in regards to major depression, what you're going to notice with the person is they may be irritable. You may notice rapid weight loss or gain, insomnia or hyposomnia. They may have some fatigue, feelings of guilt or worthlessness, and a poor connection with their peers. So what is the OT role in regards to someone that's dealing with depression? We would realize what impacts are occurring on their function. Is their school or social life impacted? Do they have an inability to practice in leisure, ADL, and IADL activities? Cognitive impacts, so loss of concentration. Maybe their problem-solving abilities have diminished or poor coping skills. They could also show slow or increased psychomotor activities. And let's go look at the treatment options. So we're going to do medication, possibly. You also want to ensure that we're doing group and individual psychotherapy. Obviously, we can't do the medication. So an OT's role is to look at the functions that are impacted, and then we want to work towards those, but also provide a support group, somewhere where they can self-express with a focus on their values, beliefs, spiritual and emotional recognition. We want to provide them with social skills trainings, assist them with creating meaningful and satisfying patterns of occupational engagement. If the individual is having suicidal ideations, you want to make sure that they are contracting for safety. So all of this is ensuring their quality of life and where they're at. So a manic episodes. A manic episode first appears in the late teens to early 20s and have a rapid onset. So in regards to a manic episode, the individual could be very talkative. They could have a decreased need for sleep, increased activity. They may have, in terms of the fight or flight, they may be looking more towards the fight. The best way to describe a manic episode, because I have worked in the mental health field, is it would almost be like someone on speed. They're just all over the place. Their thoughts are jumbled. So what can we do as OTs? We can assess if their judgment is poor, and if they're experiencing acting out behaviors, if they're impulsive or hyperactive, which could impair their functioning. So medication is an option, family therapy, brief hospitalization if needed. So you never want to engage in an argument with with someone that's experiencing this disorder. You want to be sure that you are helping them realize what's going on and maybe see if they're off of their medication. Maybe they need medication training and to know how to pack a pill box, to set reminders on their phones. The next thing we have is the hypomanic episodes. So these are less severe and disabling form of a manic episode. The client shows impaired judgment and irritability. They may experience mood swings, and they may sleep less than usual. And they're also unable to finish tasks that they've started. Treatment again would be medication, play therapy for children, cognitive therapy, and psychotherapy. In regards to this, their imperative function, so function is generally impaired. So if they did have a job, they may not be able to hold it. In regards to children, they may have problems at school, difficulty sleeping, negative behaviors. I am trying, people. We're not getting close to the 10-minute mark. Bipolar disorder. Okay. As you see, I have the 3 tiers that are written there for bipolar, or the 3 types that are written there for bipolar disorder. It's exactly what it means. So I'm assuming that we already know the definition. So what can a therapist do? The individual may already be on medications, but we provide group psychotherapy, family therapy, education, and behavioral approaches. So we want to see how is this impacting the individual's quality of life and what they may need assistance with. So the next thing we have is, let me see. The last one on this list is psychothymia. In regards to this, it is pretty much a rare mood disorder that causes emotional highs and lows. The impact of function, less impairments than bipolar disorder. Vocational function impairment during depressing moods. Social functionings could be impaired during mood swings. Substance abuse is a potential problem. So the occupational and activities for the child with this disorder would be improved self-esteem and increased motivation, provide opportunities for self-expression, provide outlets for different emotions, provide opportunities to focus on values, beliefs, and spiritual, emotional regulation. We're getting through this, people! Opposition defiant disorder. Believe it or not, this is our last one. Yay us! Let's get it done. Okay. So we know what this is. It's pretty clear to distinguish. Now, this is exactly what it means. The individual is not intentionally defying you. They just don't realize that that's what they're doing. So they often lose their temper, argue with adults. They're actively defiant, refusing to comply with adults' requests or rules. They deliberately annoy others, blame others for their mistakes or behaviors. They often are touchy and easily annoyed by others. They anger easily and often spiteful or vindictive. So, these behaviors do not occur excessively during the course of a mood disorder. So what can we do? Treatment would be behavioral therapy, clear and simple instructions or requests, time ins and time outs. Time ins are used to increase pleasant social and physical contact, where times out are used to decrease the pleasant social and physical contacts. A reward to reinforce desired behavior, functional outcomes for the client within the context, interventions to improve social skills, problem solving, and anger management, parent education structured in routine environments with sensory integration approaches. Clients who experience failure may not be receptive to engage in formal assessment processes, and they aren't always thankful and generally do not have insight into their own opposition behavior. That's very important to remember because it essentially isn't intentional. So, we're looking at treatment. We want to encourage them to follow the rules, set firm guidelines for them so that they know what's expected of them. So you could videotape models or role play conflict situations so that they can get an understanding of what they should do. Should have a child-centered intervention. Behavioral management techniques. You want to teach the parent to praise the child for positive reactions and